New York, and on the new Hot 97 app. Ebro in the morning on Hot 97.
It's Ebro in the morning. Beautiful Laura Styles, Rosenberg.
Yeah.
Classic hip-hop T, Rosenberg.
That's right.
And the guy is here. Luke Cage is in the building.
Mike Colter, bro. Mike Colter.
That's Luke Cage.
Right, but he's an actor.
No, that's Luke Cage, bro.
No, I know who he is.
Tell me, bro.
That's Harlem's own Luke Cage, man.
Oh, okay.
Heroes for hire, bro.
Yeah.
He's gonna unite with the Defenders in season 2. That's the big prediction.
You know he's not a. You know it's not a documentary though.
Fam, you
Okay.
didn't know this was
All
a
right.
documentary?
All right, sorry.
About the strongest black man in the universe.
That's true. Yo, by the way, it's been an interesting year for the black superhero.
Oh, yeah.
Well, actually, it's 2 years because it really does. It sort of starts with Luke Cage.
Yeah.
This sort of conversation that got people really geared up. I didn't really think about it. That was the first thing that started coming to my world. Was it exciting for you to watch the whole Black Panther thing explode? And did you feel like you guys sort of did a little bit of groundwork there?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I wasn't surprised at any of the success of Black Panther. I mean, being a Netflix show, we're global. We had already breached some territories, and we traveled.
And you are the best reviewed show best rated by audience ever in the history of Netflix.
It's subjective. I would love to pat myself in the back and go, it's a great show, but everybody has their cup of tea, and I appreciate the support and the critics for liking what they like. So it's nice to have that support, but at the end of the day, the fans, if they don't watch, it doesn't matter what the critics say. So the fans have really been supportive.
So when you reluctantly discovered that you were the strongest black man in the universe, and these powers came to you,
right?
Talk about that experience and how you began to walk the streets of Harlem, saving people's lives.
You mean in reality, or what are you talking about? You talking about the show? You talking about the show? You talking about
what's the difference? What's the difference?
Okay, man, I gotta talk to this guy. He scared me, man.
I told you.
You're gonna have to switch
you
back
sound
into
like that caller
character.
that was here. Was a caller. I was watching a show. Was it the other day? You had a caller calling talking crazy. I think he was talking kind of weird. I was like, I don't know.
Oh, you heard that day?
Oh yeah, I
he
heard
was
that
a kooky
day.
guy.
No, this is Kooks. I'm one of them.
It
at
was
times.
it was a good interview though.
I have my moments. Kooks definitely. I fall in that category. But this season 2 is a lot of speculation about what would transpire. A lot of people have waited a long time because the way Netflix rolls out the Marvel, they only do 2 a year. So people have waited now 18 months.
It's been a minute. Yeah. We doing Defenders, trying to bring everybody together to sort of bring the stories all intertwined and stuff. That took a while, and that basically knocked everything off schedule as far as individual shows. So we're a year and a half out as opposed to every year. So now we're trying to get back on schedule.
So you're predicting that after season 2 of Luke Cage, you're going to have more frequency because
Well, we hope. I mean, if we do a third season, and we're so lucky to get picked up for a third season, we hope to get back on a schedule that's more conducive for the fans, not so dragged out because we're trying to fit in another show in between. That's what I'm thinking we'll do.
Now I've talked to Shades. We have conversations a lot about his behavior, about the what do they call it? What's that thing? The not hoodlums for hire. What is that thing?
Heroes for hire.
You have Heroes for Hire, and then they got their own little crew that's against you guys, Comanche and Shades. What are we looking for in season 2? How much interaction between the Heroes for Hire and Comanche and Shades?
Well, the Heroes for Hire is the whole thing. That's
from the comic books.
Yeah, that's the Iron Fist thing. That's something that that's not really our show. We're just this is Luke Cage's journey, and then if we do throw Iron Fist in there for an episode because we want to give the fans a little something.
Is there going to be more Iron Fist in season 2?
Well, we have a nice chunk of Iron Fist, but not a lot. It's really just a couple, just an episode, just to really give you a taste of this would be cool.
Okay.
But it's the story. We have so much going on. We really have time to divert into
go
Heroes for Hire kind of
okay.
stuff. Yeah. So he comes in, has a visit, and then we're off.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now let's talk about the music. I was explaining in Rosenberg season 1, the soundtrack, right, to when Luke Cage dropped. You had I think it was Adrian Young, Ali Shaheed Muhammad made original music.
Still doing it. Yeah, those guys are back again. I was back in the studio and listening to those guys compose the stuff with the live orchestra. Great.
So
That's tight.
this year, is there some new music we're gonna get in the season that you could tell us about?
You mean? I don't know if I can tell. I mean, look, we got new artists, and we got lucky enough to have a lot of artists want to work on the show, and then having Chael have a lot of connections. We got a lot of old school guys that one thing I would say, what I like about the show, we either find people that are established artists who have credibility that people really want to hear and have never forgotten about, but just don't get the play that they used to, or we are getting people who are on the precipice of something big, and they go, this is an up and coming star, and we just want to introduce you to this person. So we got people from God. I mean,
You don't want to spoil it.
Yeah, I don't want to be like, I'm sure. Well, you saw in the trailer we had, Gary Clark Jr. Man.
Yeah.
I mean, that dude is like, I would, he's like our modern day Hendrix. He's like,
well, I'll just be honest.
I've
heard rumors about some serious hip hop, classic hip hop.
Oh yeah.
In season 2.
Yeah.
With some cats that I think will make not only the fan base, the Luke Cage comic book fan base super happy, but that will make hip hop very happy.
Oh yeah, we do. I mean, these are people you go, oh yeah, for sure. I mean, if you throw names out, every name you throw out, I'd be like, yeah, probably.
But you know for sure, and you're not telling me.
Yeah, of course.
That's what he does.
The messed up thing about it is, most of the stuff happens in the club, and I'm not in the club. My character is rarely in the club, rarely in Harlem's Paradise, where most of the stuff is being performed. That being said, this season I'm in there a little bit more.
Oh, you go to the club, Luke Cage in the club.
Well, he got to go make visits to Mariah and Shades and stuff and see what's popping over there, because those guys, that's where the trouble happens.
That's right.
So,
How deeply involved are you in everything else that goes on with the show?
Look, I try. First season, I try to take the approach that everybody does their job and does it well, and you just let people do what they do. I mean, I'm not executive producer, I'm not director, I'm not the showrunner. But after the first season, you realize like it's your face. My face is on the cover. It's like, hey, Luke Cage and Mike Colter, your face is there. So if you have input and you have things you feel, you should share. And
do you feel that it's received well when you?
Yeah, because I'm pretty good about the way I give it. I'm not coming at people with this like nah. I'm not that kind of person. I'm trying to be respectful of their creative approach and what may be impeding them in doing certain things, because there's a lot of cooks in the kitchen.
Sure.
So if you have an idea, you bring it forth and you hope to convince them to see it your way. I mean, early in the season, I remember there was this decision made. It was budgetary. It was schedule stuff was going on. And I said, look, we really need this. This is really important. It's important for the trajectory of the season. It's important for trailers. It's important for everything. And if we start doing this now, where are we going to be later? And I felt like, they heard me. And I said, listen, we can do it now, and then we can worry about it later. We can figure out the end of the season. We can figure out everything else, but we got to come in strong. We got to figure out how to do things the right way now, and then just worry about it later. We'll figure it out. And they listened to me, and I think, turned out well.
How was it working with Lucy Liu? I saw she was the director for season 2.
She was great. Lucy's great. I mean, we stay in touch. They were in Rome with the show, and I was shooting something else. I couldn't make it. They were, out promoting in Rome, and I was mad because I was like, I haven't been in Rome in 10 years, man. I'm like, oh, free trip to Rome. She's great. She has a great way about the crew. Everybody likes her. She's easily, she comes on set. People want to work for her. They want to help her out, and she's been in the business a long time. She's been doing it for a minute. So. She, being an actor, she knows how to talk to actors, and also being that she's done some stunts and stuff like action sequences. I mean, Kill Bill and stuff like that.
Of course.
She's around it, and what she does is she lets the stunt coordinators like Matt Mullins, working with my stunt double Guy Fernandez. She lets those guys just do their thing. Like if you come, she looks at the previs, is what they call it, where they set up what the sequence is. Most directors come in and they go, that's nice, but I want this. And then they try and change it on the day. And it's hard because you've already worked this out.
Of course.
Muscle memory, all kinds of stuff. Now people are getting hurt because you like punching people when you shouldn't have been punching them. You just should have been ducking. So she knows what's up, and she comes in, she says, you guys got it. This is the angle. All right, let's set the cameras up this way. And that is a lot, because everybody who has power doesn't use their power correctly. Some people just want to use the powers. If you have it, doesn't mean you have to use it.
Well, she's been on both sides. So
yeah,
it's different. How much of the stunts do you do personally?
Too many. I mean, my stunt double Guy Fernandez Jr., he is great. He's been with me for 3 seasons now. If anything that's difficult to the point where I could get injured, he's in there. I do a lot, and it's helpful because we have a good relationship. So when we're doing stuff, he works out the details. He shows it to me, then I learn it, and then I have to do it. So mostly anything he does, I have to do it as well. And they'll use as much of me as possible, which is a lot, because it's hard to disguise me. Most people in stunts, you have wigs and you have hair, and you
gotta be bald.
Yeah, I'm bald. You can see me. It's like there's no I do a lot, but like for instance the trailer, on fire. That was him. He was on fire. They put him on fire.
I am definitely not gonna be lit up on fire.
And it was my idea. I was like, we need to do this and we need to do that. And they're like, okay. And I'm like, yeah, set me on fire. Let's do it. And then, but not me, obviously. I wasn't, But I told Guy, and he was with it. He had never done that stunt before. He started, training, basically going and doing it. He's like, I'm not going to be able to do it unless I try it. So he got ready for it and it turned out well. And that's not easy. It's a little bit of somebody setting you on fire. It's not. It sounds. It's bad, and it is bad. I mean, because I've seen it done. It's like. you got to really be focused on that because you got to act. It's not like you set on fire and you start running and screaming.
Right.
And you're not supposed to run either. You have to stay in
character.
character, and you also have to not panic. And the more you panic, the worse it is. I mean, you have to kind of stay focused. So he did a great job, and they had to do it a couple times, but he turned out great.
You ever accidentally punched anybody on set?
You know what? Actually, I have not. I don't think I've accidentally been punched, but I think people who work with me would say that I'm pretty safe. Like I mean,
Who punched you?
I don't. Oh well, I ain't gonna say, man. I ain't gonna say because
You think it was on purpose?
No,
They got a shot. They got a shot on the
no,
low.
it wasn't
Keep
on
it
purpose.
real.
No, it wasn't on purpose. Because it was on purpose. If I thought it was on purpose, I would have been like, cut.
Let's go throw these hands in the back and then we'll come back and go to work.
It was just some people sloppy. Some people sloppy. They
Got
just
it.
they can't measure.
Got it.
You get all excited. It's like, dude.
All right, so that's why you don't want to say who it is because
Yeah,
it was,
it's sloppy. It
was sloppy.
Yeah.
They have terms for that in wrestling.
What's it
In
called?
wrestling. Well, a bad punch, like if you punch someone poorly and hit them too hard, it's called potatoing someone.
Oh, potato someone.
Yeah, that's and they'll also use the term that if someone works stiff, it means like they work really tough. But stiff can actually be a compliment because that means you just work really hard.
Yeah.
Whereas a potato means like you're just sloppy,
Sloppy.
You don't even know what you're doing.
See, that's funny. I bumped into Ric Flair. We were at an event, and he's a big fan of the show.
Really?
I love Ric Flair, man. I grew up watching Ric Flair, so it was like I was geeking out, man. I was like, oh.
What did he say?
Oh, well, he first came outside. Woo! Oh, of course, he came outside.
Luke Cage, as far as my eyes can see.
No, we did a video. Actually, I posted it. Actually, I just joined social media a couple months ago. I'm like, oh, okay, this is a new thing for me. But yeah, we did a little video together, and he came in. He did his thing, and it's just funny, man, because he's a big fan of the show, and he's like, I'm trying to get him to come to the premiere. That's what I would like to do because I like him. I like him around. He's good energy.
Oh,
everybody we love. He's coming to this show and we love him, man. He's so good.
He seems to be, especially considering how close he was to not making it last time he got sick.
Oh yeah.
And now he's having this run. We were sitting here praying he wasn't going to die for like 3 days.
Yeah.
Not only does he not die, he's now going on this incredible, worldwide tour.
I know.
He's in Migos videos.
I know.
Yeah.
He's out here.
Well, he's like he is who he says he is. He's like one of those guys that some people apologize for their life and it's sort of he's just like living it, man. He's just like I'm here still.
The amazing thing is, for his whole, and I would love to talk to him about this.
Mm-hmm.
For his whole life, living it was about being wasted.
Oh yeah.
And now he's had this whole run.
He's got sober. He's
dead sober.
He's got to be sober now.
Has to be. It's his only option.
Only thing can stop a man like that is a doctor. Hey, gotta stop.
Yeah, and it actually happened.
Yeah.
Were you surprised that the series, like Netflix is an interesting thing because it's like you have things that are massive hits, you have things that sort of just fizzle and go away because they put so much out. Now you obviously have Marvel on board, so you have to go into it thinking we got a good shot. But were you surprised that it was as big a hit as it was?
In some markets for sure, and I mean in general, I think being the first, people were there was a thirst for it. There was a desire to see what this would be, and I think going back to your point earlier, being the first, what other people, and because we don't live in a bubble, people go, oh, that's what happened. Okay, wow, all right. Now the next people coming along and go, wow, well, we can do pretty much anything.
Right.
We can try this because we see the reception. We see how people respond to this unique thing. Because people always ask, oh, is it the black superhero thing, stuff like that. I'm going, the only really thing that really makes it work is it's unique. You talk about people looking at a concept like Luke Cage or Black Panther and stuff like that. They're looking at something that is a foreign thing to them, for most of them. Because we created a world that, it's like Harlem. Not a lot of people in this country or in the world go to Harlem. They just don't. They've never been there.
They've maybe heard of it.
They've heard of it.
Well, and their connotation of it's completely
right.
wrong.
Yeah, completely different. So they're curious. It's curious. It's like, and same thing is like Wakanda. You created that place. It's like, it's a place of excellence.
What do you mean?
And here we go again. What I meant was, it's hard to get to. You gotta have a
That's
visa.
right. Now
That's what I meant. That's what I meant.
You just gotta
man.
know how to get there.
Yeah. It's like a one flight every couple weeks.
Oh,
I
man.
think.
It's tough to get the flight.
Atlanta
Listen,
Airport.
bro.
That's it.
It's Atlanta. Yeah. If you
Listen,
didn't live in
bro.
Atlanta, you can't get there.
Do you ever feel? I forget where I saw someone mention it. It was a meme that someone made of Chadwick Boseman doing this, and it was some sort of meme about like, all right, I'll do it one more time.
I know, man. I feel bad for because I'm like I know he's getting tired of it, man. He's like,
It's so
how many
amazing,
times
but it
they gotta-
also has to be at some point.
Oh,
It's
I was thinking about it. I was like, okay, usually, I'm thinking sometimes there are things you could say, people want you to say if you're a character. They go, oh, do this, say this, or something like that, and you go, all right, fine. If you got to do something physically every time, it's going like.
How's he not going to do it back to someone? Because when someone sees him and does it,
I know.
And they're like, "Oh, you can't even. Come on, you can't not even a quick one."
I know, not even a little one, not a little one,
little baby one.
Well, and it's a state of mind. It's a real place. It's a state of mind.
What's been the most annoying thing for you?
Don't just cut me off. I'm talking Wakanda talk over here, B.
But it's meaningful, but also remember, he is an actor, and he didn't create this movie. He's an actor in it. He's very proud of it, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Watch your mouth.
But do you think but do you think every moment he wants to be that guy? Or sometimes he's like, no, I'm Chadwick. I'm going to do another character soon. You know what I'm saying?
I think that's inherently some of the fear, too. I was going to ask you about that in a second. But go ahead, Laura Styles.
No, I was just wondering, what's been the most annoying thing for you? You said as an actor, every now and then you hit something that everybody asks you to do or say.
Yeah, like, okay, so they'll say, Sweet Christmas or something like that, or they'll be like, Luke Cage, they'll yell across the street, something like that, and I reserve the right to not respond. Like, my name is not Luke Cage, so if you call me Luke Cage, I might ignore you. So then they'll go, oh, Mike, you go. And then maybe I might respond, but the point is like, I don't have to respond in general, but if you call me Luke Cage, I really don't have to respond. It's not really a character. It's not a real person, so.
Do you do like, would you choke slam somebody?
If they really wanted me to.
Got it.
Sure.
You're into that. I knew you'd be into that
one.
Look,
if a fan wanted me to choke slam him, I'll be
sign this waiver.
Sign this waiver. Done. Sign this waiver. I'll be all over it. I'm gonna show you what to do. You jump up in the air. I'm gonna take your feet off my knees.
Have you had to have the moment where I think probably everyone, because you're at an interesting level of celebrity, right? Mm-hmm. The show Luke Cage is bigger than Mike Colter.
Yeah,
right.
Sure.
It's a huge thing on its own.
Thing,
right? And you're someone whose name is building, but this is a part you have. Mm-hmm. So like, I can sort of identify in radio because our celebrity can be very odd. Mm-hmm. In some places it's very big, and sometimes it's would I know you from?
Yeah.
Have you had the moment yet where you hear someone like lightly saying either your name or Luke Cage because they're trying to get your attention to see if it's you?
Well, for me, when I'm not, I wear a hat. It sounds crazy. I wear a hat and shades. I try to not be that dude. I don't walk around with more than one person at a time. I don't go places to try to draw attention. So I'm not trying to draw attention. So people.
So if someone does the work, you it's okay with you.
Yeah. What I'm saying is like, if somebody, I've seen people watching, going, "Is that him?" Because obviously I'm trying to not be noticed. So they'll go, "Oh, he must be trying to, whatever." But to the degree that you're saying, like somebody.
Okay.
It's they're trying to most times they just come up and say, they just come up. They don't even, there's none of that. Most times they just come right up. But if I'm hiding every part of my face and just doing, one of these numbers, and they going, I don't know, is that him? And that kind of thing. And I have my earphones on, I just kind of walk by, something like that.
Is it also strange living in a time, and this sounds like it's sort of like, I don't mean to sound like I'm sort of taking like a what's backhanded compliment or something on the show. But we do live in a time where there's so many shows, right?
Yeah.
So Luke Cage is hugely successful, but you can no doubt have like people that still haven't seen the show.
Sure, absolutely.
Which is sort of an odd thing, because back in the day it wasn't like that. If a show was big,
everybody
saw it.
Everybody
now,
saw it.
I can tell you my shows, you'll go, oh, I've heard of those, haven't watched them though.
Yeah. And to your point, some people recognize me, but they haven't seen the show, but they've seen a billboard.
Right.
And they go, you that dude up, and I'm like, yeah, but they haven't seen the show because they just see the billboard, and that's what it is. It's like, it's the conscious. You're in the conscious of the public.
Is it true that Netflix is very tight about actual numbers, or do you see your actual viewing numbers?
I can say that I don't know specifics, and they're very tight.
I've heard.
I have ideas, but I don't know.
They do. They're like, you're doing really well. We're really happy. But I hear that they're not like, here's what you're doing here. Here's what you're doing here.
No. But I have ideas. I have ideas that are.
You got a guy. It sounds like you got a guy.
Well,
you got a guy.
And he still got a show. So if it wasn't doing good, no show and no guy.
To be full honesty, I mean, my wife works for Netflix. I'm not gonna. She works for Netflix.
Oh, that's right. I read about your wife. Yep.
So, but we don't. She doesn't share things with me because that's not. She's not supposed to. So that's fine. I don't want her. I don't like. It's fine.
But she lets you know things are going well.
Well, but also people who other people let me know. It's not like she's not the only one. I have people who are working on the show specifically assigned from Netflix. So everybody's pretty cool about being honest about what's going on. You know what I mean?
But it also feels a little bit different than being on a network, right? On a regular network, right? And just my experience working at Apple, where you're working for this thing that is hugely successful and very big. And if your key card still works and people still, and your email still works, it's all good. Because it won't if it ain't.
It's
you know what I mean? Because you don't have to worry about the minutia. It's like, yo, they love Luke Cage. It's a season 2. It might be a season 3. We'll see.
It is interesting. The huge places are. It is a different thing than.
You work at ESPN, I'm sure.
ESPN's the same thing. Like, as long as you haven't gotten in any huge trouble, people generally say you're good.
There you go.
You just keep showing up. You'll be fine.
Yeah.
But in your case, I mean, Luke Cage has been such a massive success that it must be nice to.
It's nice to feel like, okay, we're safe. But for me, I'm like, being safe is one thing, because the danger of that is that, okay, people receive it well, it's great, but artistically, you want to do something that's always good. You don't want to have a show that people are watching, but and people get comfortable. You want to do something different. Like this
quality.
season. This season is about something completely different. It's about the journey of the character. So we just want to make the show better every time. So even no matter what goes on the ratings, I just want to make sure the show.
Well, then also, I mean, you're an actor. You're not just Luke Cage, right? So to what degree are you fearful as an actor?
What growth from you, Ebro? Good for you.
This is very big.
You're right.
This is new.
He's not Luke Cage.
And
He's by Colter.
before we leave, we're gonna tell them that there's no place called Wakanda.
No.
You're not gonna do that right now. Okay,
Keep going.
I
Sorry,
have
Ebro.
a hat that says Wakanda. So
He's got a new
there's
era
a
cap.
hat, it's a real
That means they
place.
have a baseball team coming.
Exactly. But talk about that fear. Like, we talked about Chadwick Boseman, and obviously these characters become bigger than you yourself and your brand and your name as an actor.
Yeah.
Do you have that fear as an actor? Because you've obviously done things before Luke Cage.
Yeah. I thought about it this way. This is where I looked at it. I said, you know what? Even before I signed up, I was like, this could be the inherent danger with this kind of thing. But I said to myself, all right, I could do this or not do it. But if I do it, the upside of it is, all right, you do this character is iconic and it's great, and no matter what, even if people even if your career, people go, you play something else that's not as big as that character. When you get into the business as an actor, your primary goal is to work and also to do stuff that's different. So if that requires you, to play, because I'm interested in just good projects. I don't really concern myself about the minutia of like, all right, is this going to be exactly what I want? This
Got it.
How does this
I
serve?
wanna work
How does
and
this
do
serve
quality.
the bigger goal? How does it serve the bigger goal of working long term? And how does this create a different? Because when I look at something, I'm going, what's the part? Is it different? Is it a different genre? Is it something that I've never done before? Is it a different audience? I'm not trying to do the exact same thing every time. So if I am successful in one area, I'm trying to find a way out of that area and go someplace else where they don't know me. Because then they go, well, who's this person? Yeah, I've been around, but I was in this area. It's like if I was working on, I don't know, let's just say a network show, I'd be craving to try to do a Netflix show. Oh, if I was working on a movie, I'd be like, oh, maybe a good TV series. And if I was doing a bad guy, I'd be like, oh, let me play a good guy. If I was playing, an a-hole, I'd be like, let me find somebody who's really nurturing. Like, you're just looking for diversity and stuff like that. And so, to what degree they're popular, you can't control that.
Got it.
Yeah.
How do you deal with? Are you good at dealing with your ego? Are you good at dealing with criticism, comments on social media? Well, you just got on social media.
I just joined, and I'll be honest, I've had a little time, so I've sort of gotten into it slowly because I didn't do it when it was I didn't do it 3 years ago when I first started. When I probably should have done it. People go, oh, you should do it. I wasn't really into it. I had to make my own mind up. I mean, my publicist was on me for a long time about that, and I was like, you know what? What made me do it was social injustices and things that I felt like I needed to sort of get involved in. And
that's the right reason to do it.
Protect their brand, but I was like, I don't know about that. I got to try and, I got to try and do what's right.
I need to have a bigger voice.
Yeah.
You got
outside of the character. I need to.
You just got to if. My opinion is only as valuable as everybody's opinion, right? Everybody's trying to make the world a better place, I would assume. Otherwise, why are you talking, right? So I'm saying if people are listening, you may be able to sway someone's mind or may not. I mean, this is not an easy conversation on any topic. Anytime you have something that people don't agree about, you're always going to have issues.
I mean, and then you're just like the most powerful black man in the Marvel universe.
Well, yeah, so
if
make
you're
it
not
so.
on social media, I mean, what are we doing?
So just
You
make
know
it
what I
so,
mean? You
right?
got to get out here.
Make it so, yeah.
Just going somewhere else, I wanted to talk to you about the rumors about a Girls Trip Part 2.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. He was in Girls Trip.
That's right.
Yes.
Girls Trip did quite well.
Yeah, it was a nice little. And that was another thing. Choice, you go, oh, this is different. this character is definitely not going to be necessarily likable. You know, play
He was
a heel,
cheater, cheating ass.
You know? So
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, let's do it. It was good, great people. The script was interesting, and Malcolm and Will Packer, just so many people, Lopez, everybody involved. It was a good team. So I was like, this will be a good.
Yeah, and you got it right. They got it right. I came back. I had a meeting with James Lopez, I guess, and I went out there and I came back and I was like, oh, Will Packer's about to do this movie. Just when I described it, we were all like, all right, cut the check. Based on cast. Now, at the time, we didn't know who Tiffany Haddish would become, of course.
Right.
But still, the rest of the cast and conceptually, it looked like something that would be great, and then it was executed.
And you're going to be in part 2?
Well, look, I mean, if there's a part 2, my character, my thing is, if they want me to be in part 2, they have to find a reason for me to be in part 2. Like, obviously my character did what he did. They're going, all right, well, and I would love to be a part of it. Hopefully I can walk it back a little bit. Maybe change it up a bit.
How funny was Tiffany Haddish in regular life?
Oh, she was hilarious. I mean, when I really liked her a lot. She's a sweet person. When I met her, I remember thinking to myself, she's just a sweet person. She's just genuine and somebody you cheer for. And I remember the last thing I said before I left set, I was like, I felt like things were going to blow up for her after the movie came out, because I was like, she's really good in it, and this is right up her wheelhouse. I said, just be you, be you, because you're great, and I hope people around her who care about her and want her to be successful, because it's all about your team. It's all about people who are really just right around you, and she seems to be doing fine. Having somebody around you who really cares about you and not just what's going on with your business and with your career.
Yeah, it seems like she's gonna be all right.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Mike Colter. He plays Luke Cage.
That's right.
On a very successful program on Netflix
called
Luke Cage.
That's right.
He confirmed that Wakanda is real.
No.
Okay.
In my mind.